Hello. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. This is Luke, one of the protagonists of my novel in progress, which I'll call Starlight for now. He's the son of an herbalist and loves helping his mother work with plants and medicines. Flowers and nature have always been something he just feels an innate connection to and understanding of, and since he's rather nervous and shy, they're one of the few areas where he feels comfortable and confident. I don't know about you, but I often have a hard time balancing art and writing. I find it easier to write about my characters when I have a clear visual drawn for what they look like, and I feel more confident in the descriptions I write if I draw it and it looks aesthetically pleasing. Because of this, I don't really spend as much time on writing as I do on art, or at least lately that's the trend I've noticed in myself. To balance that, I've decided to create a webcomic. That sounds like it's not balancing it, but don't worry, there's a plan. Hopefully it'll be a prologue of sorts for Starlight, kind of a way to show all of you what the story is like while also growing my art skills and helping me get more comfortable drawing my characters. So, to begin the dev work for it, calling it dev work helps me feel motivated to work on it. I've been creating reference sheets of the characters. Lately, I literally have not been able to make a character look the same between drawings no matter how hard I try, so a reference sheet will be both a great thing to be able to look back on and great practice for just drawing each character a few times. To be honest, I haven't really drawn anything much at all for a few years now. I'm not sure what happened or what changed, but I can tell that something feels different. A good, better different now. In fact, I've drawn more / created more finished art pieces in the past 3 months than I did in the entire year of 2022. No shade on 2022, it was definitely the best year I've ever had, but I'm so much more able to make things now, even if this year is not worse, but kind of worse in some ways. I think a lot of things could be contributing to that kind of thing, but I think I want to talk about that in a different video, so I'll save it for now. I started out with a really messy sketch that I ended up refining in a different Procreate file. That's the image you saw appear right at the beginning of the video, and then I kind of used that as my reference for the next few drawings. I think I'd originally intended to do a back or side view as well as the front full body, but a big part of the reason why ref sheets are so hard for me is that I just do not understand how to compose them. I'm chalking that up to a lack of practice with ref sheets, as well as a general bit of rustiness after not having drawn very much for so long. Hopefully I'll start improving as I try to draw more of them. We'll see. And I definitely should have sketched out the layout of this ref sheet as a whole before going into detail on any of the drawings. But once again, if you've been here before, you know that my recurring flaw is just that I jump into the whole piece too soon and then regret it because I hate sketching and I hate line art in Procreate. I don't know, it just, something about it doesn't feel the same as when maybe I need Paper-like to feel like I like sketching and line art. It all feels too smooth, and I don't like the way that it feels. But I'm a better artist digitally because I can kind of move things around, and I like working non-destructively, so it's a whole thing. But I love coloring, and I can never wait too long to color. So, like usual, I just kind of jumped right into it, trying to draw Luke in a way that captured his personality. He's a shyer, softer character who worries a lot about messing things up and failing the people around him, and that fear of failure does often inevitably lead to the exact scenarios he's afraid of, but anyway. Another part of the reason I wanted to make ref sheets for everyone is because I literally just have no ability to draw children. Every time I try, they end up weirdly elongated, like disproportionate gangly preteens. Drawing kids is in this weird area between chibis and adults for me, and I don't know. Once again, I guess the word of the hour is practice, and the idea that I need more of it. I feel that way in general with most art things lately, which isn't a bad thing at all, and once again, something I'll probably talk about in its own video. Anyway, I had a hard time getting his head to be the right size and angle on the full body, and as you saw earlier, I even had to shrink and squish him a bit to make him look more correctly childlike. Or at least closer to the age I wanted him to appear here, which I'm thinking is between 8 and 10-ish. To be honest, I still haven't quite solidified that part in my brain, which isn't making any of this any easier. I have a timeline of about 6 years that I kind of want between the prologue and the actual novel, and I don't know, making everybody 10 I'm trying to feel it out. I don't know what will work best for the story for these early parts. Next, I moved on to a few different expressions that I thought would suit him. I was surprised to find that the concerned look was the easiest for me to draw by far, and that I had the most trouble with happy. Part of that is probably because I tend to draw characters in kind of empty or neutral sad expressions most of the time, and so drawing a sad-ish expression was easier than pushing it toward happy. But I feel as a whole like he just looks kind of blank and dead inside in the happy image. Like I don't really know what he's looking at or smiling at, and it's almost kind of scary. Also, I've been struggling a lot with eyebrows lately. I think I need to study how other artists treat eyebrows, because Happy was a lot easier when you could see his eyebrows, but they logically would be hidden behind his bangs, so like, I'm not sure. I moved on to coloring pretty quickly because I just hate working on digital pieces without color, like I said earlier, and color can often help me see what's working and what's not, especially in the silhouettes of shapes, like in his hair or the silhouette of his outfit. And I struggled a lot with his eyes. I don't know, I just have a hard time making decisions in general, and decisions like the eye colors of my characters can feel kind of big to me. I always feel like I can describe what I want in pretty words, but when I try to draw it, I'm not really sure if I like how it comes out. That's kind of the point of drawing things out though, but I think a really cool artist could make my pretty words into better art than I'm capable of. Maybe one day I'll get there. Practice. The overall vibe for the village Luke is from is a vaguely Norse-inspired, vaguely aesthetic because of the area on the world map that the village sits. In my reasoning, if a specific culture emerged in a specific area, part of that was definitely influenced by the geography itself. So, fantasy cultures in a similar region would, at least in my brain, bear some of the same traits of the real world cultures who inhabited that place. So I took a lot of outfit inspiration from old Viking style outfit and the way that they layered things for weather and the materials and silhouettes that they had. I added twine detailing around his wrists, ankles, and boots because I like the look of the leg wraps we often see in Nordic inspired looks, such as these. I really hate drawing straight sleeves like this, and so I tried giving him wrist braces at first, but then I realized that made no sense for his current situation in life. No intentional combat, I have to say intentional, no archery, etc. So I turned them into the ties. I don't know if I like how it looks, but I've kept it for now. I also varied the end of his sleeves in the two drawings because I couldn't, and still can't, honestly, decide which I like better. So if you have any preference or ideas about what I could do to make the sleeves look better, please let me know, please. I'd love to hear them. I've been struggling a lot with Luke's color scheme for the past few months. He's kind of always had this dark teal / blue-green aesthetic, so when I think of him and his place beside the other main characters, Alicia and Rissa, this is kind of what I think of. I was sitting here scripting this and I was like, you know, Luke is Baja Blast aesthetic. And then I reached to take a sip of my drink and I was like, hold up. I will literally never unthink this. Oh my gosh, Baja Blast boy, he's vibin'. However, his aesthetic is meant to be more like this, and whenever I try to add those vibes to outfit design thumbnails, it just doesn't seem to work right. Because of that, this design might continue to shift as I work on concept stuff for the comic, but we'll see. He's basically meant to have some hidden faerie aesthetics, which kind of come through more clearly with the streaks in his hair. I never seem to be able to get the colors of the streak right. I don't exactly want it to be a rainbow, but I want it to evoke faint fairy energy. I don't know, Luke's overall vibe is kind of like dawn over a lush forest, those pinks and golds mixing with like a nice deep blue-green. The background confused me a lot, especially at first, but then I tried to add kind of Polaroid adjacent little scenes behind him to help capture his aesthetic, and I of course added sparkles and gradients because those are the things that always help make my art feel more colorful and dynamic to me. I made a little spread of some of the items Luke carries with him, like a few medicinal potions, some flowers, and in this case lavender because I often associate him with lavender, both for its floral and herbal properties and also because it represents friendship and loyalty, ooh woo, and those attributes fit him well. He also carries a necklace and some charms made by his friend Jace, who loves working with stones and creating jewelry. And finally, he also has a magical astrolabe, his mother's, that's enclosed in a pocket watch-like case, which will be important as the comic progresses. Lastly, I went in and created a very basic draft version of the logo. The comic is currently being called Heartseed, but I'm allowing that to remain in flux until it's actually published. But I made a little heartseed logo. I was so happy and grateful to find the font that I found. I might make a video like fully designing the logo and I'll kind of explain there, but oh my goodness, I was like about to cry. And I added some detailing to the trim of his clothes meant to represent lavender. A lot about this design will probably change as I go forward with things, but I really just needed to have a way to kind of get a finished glimpse of what the ideas I currently had would look like on paper, and this rough sheet definitely helped with that. It ended up kind of maximalist and busy, but I'm actually pretty happy with how the overall composition turned out. Even if it's not structurally great, I still like it, and since I've been kind of perfectionistic with my art for the past few years, that's That's good for me. If you're curious to see how the rest of the ref sheets turn out, like this video and subscribe and hit the bell, I think, so that you'll be notified when I post those. Thank you so much for watching and have a good afternoon.